Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So in today's video, we have some more good news for beneficiaries of Social Security. And really over the past few months, we've also had really great news as well. So back in October, of course, we did have the Social Security Administration announce that 2.5% cost of living adjustment. Those increases started going out this month in January. And then recently, over the past couple of months, of course, Congress passed that Social Security Fairness Act, which if you were previously impacted by the WEP or the GPO, then for you, later on at some point this year, you are going to receive a rather large increase, anywhere between $300 to $700 on average. Plus, you're also going to be receiving the retroactive payments dating back to January of last year in 2024. Then, of course, President Trump was elected, and one of his campaign promises, or one of the things he really wants to do, is to eliminate taxes at the federal level on Social Security benefits. Then on top of all of that, we have a congressman coming forward reintroducing, or he is going to reintroduce one of his bills, which if that bill passes, which let's face it, Social Security does have a lot of momentum going for it at this point in time. If it passes, what it's going to mean is an increase of right around $440 per month for certain beneficiaries of Social Security. In today's video, we are going to be covering that. But before we go ahead and dive into it for today, if you would like to receive up to $200 in free stock or $200 in free cash, in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Robinhood. All you have to do is once you click on that link is just sign up for a free account and then simply link your bank account. You do not even have to make an opening deposit. At that point in time, Robinhood will be sending you one free stock worth all the way up to $200. And if you'd rather just have the cash, all you have to do is once you receive the free stock is just sell it for what it's worth and then transfer the cash value right back to your bank account. Okay, so diving right into it for today. Social Security over the past few months has had a lot of momentum. First off, they had the 2.5% cost of living adjustment. Then the Social Security Fairness Act passed. And then we have Trump coming out and saying he wants to eliminate taxes on Social Security. This is also another idea that could be bipartisan. We have a lot of Republicans on board with this idea. And we've actually had Democrats backing this idea in the past. So it also has a very strong chance of passing. But then just a few days ago, we had a lawmaker coming out and saying that we need to do big things for Social Security. We need to reform it. And right now, Social Security does have a lot of momentum behind it. And with this new bill, if it were to pass, what it would mean, once again, an increase of right around $440, which we are going to be covering in just a little bit later on in today's video. But first off, let's go ahead and listen to Congressman John Larson and what he has to say about Social Security. Watch.
I rise today to address the concern that faces the United States Congress, one that it has avoided and neglected for more than 54 years. Richard Nixon was the last president to enhance Social Security. That was in 1971. All of us are concerned on both sides of the aisle, but concern is no substitute for action. And it's long overdue that Congress takes a vote on behalf of the American people. Social Security is more than a pension program. And I think the American public knows it and is getting aroused because, well, there's 70 million Americans that are on Social Security and 10,000 baby boomers a day become eligible for Social Security. For example, Mr. Speaker, in your district alone, you have over 175,000 Social Security recipients. And it's broken down into those who receive pensions, those who get spousal benefits, those who get widow benefits, children, and of course, disabilities. More veterans rely on Social Security disability than they do on the VA. But here's the other key thing, and we don't emphasize this enough. Social Security is the best economic development program that we have in the country. Every district, on average, gets over $200 million coming into that district on a weekly basis. So imagine, on a monthly basis. And can you imagine, where do they spend that money? Nobody gets wealthy on Social Security, that's for sure. But that money goes right back into the economy. And so it becomes something that Congress hasn't adjusted since 1971. Now, I think a few things everyone would acknowledge have happened to the economy since 1971. But certainly for Congress to neglect its responsibility, and you can point fingers every way, but the bottom line is Congress needs to act. Congress needs to vote. President Trump has called for tax cuts for people on Social Security. I applaud him. We've had tax cuts in our proposal for the last decade, but there has been no action on that. But the difference between what we're proposing and what President Trump is proposing is that we pay for ours, because if you don't pay for it, what you end up doing is bankrupting the Social Security Fund. Still, the #1 anti-poverty program for the elderly and the #1 anti-poverty program for children. But this economic development piece is something, again, that all of us ought to be able to embrace. I provide every member of Congress with a card that will demonstrate how many recipients you have and how much money comes into your district on a monthly basis. And for us meaning the United States Congress, it's the only body that can act. President can't do it through executive order. The Supreme Court isn't going to take it up. Only the United States Congress can. Inaction means the fund will be cut. Unpaid action means the fund will be cut drastically. Imagine, Mr. Speaker, there's more than 5 million people that get a below poverty level check from Social Security, having paid in all their lives. That was not the guarantee that they signed up for. And there's close to 35 million people in total, 35 million fellow Americans. This is the only benefit they have. Again, testing to the great vision and leadership of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, knowing that this is actually the safety net of capitalism. This allows people to take risks, because even if people were to fail, there is something there to catch them and help them and their families through this. But Congress has not acted since 1971. Now, some will say, no, wait a minute. Didn't Tip O'Neill yes, they did. Tip O'Neill got together. It was primarily led by Senator Bob Dole. We got together with Ronald Reagan, who was adamantly opposed to Social Security, but Dole convinced him, no, this is the right thing to do. So what they did is they extended the solvency of Social Security to its current position. Not as long as it should have been, but nonetheless, it was an action that went in the right direction. Mr. Speaker, I know you to be a man of goodwill and integrity, and I hope this is something that we can bring up and work to get this done on behalf of the American people. And with that, I yield back.
Okay, so once again, that is Congressman John Larson giving a speech about Social Security and the needs of the American people receiving it, the reform that needs to take place. And he also mentioned President Trump's idea of eliminating taxes at the federal level on Social Security benefits. So he's backing that idea in a way, but he's also backing these other big ideas. And once again, if this bill were to pass, it would mean an increase of right around $440 per month. We're going to be covering that in this article here by Social Security Intelligence. So one of the things that it would do, as you can see here, is it would increase the minimum Social Security benefit. So one of the proposals contained in nearly every version of the Social Security 2100 Act is the increase to the minimum Social Security benefit. This minimum benefit is the lowest amount an individual can receive who worked a certain number of years. It's meant to offer a floor for those who had very low paying jobs. The current minimum that an individual can receive on Social Security benefits is $897 per month if they have worked for 30 years, and the new minimum benefit will be 125% of the poverty level for those who work for 30 years. So with the 2021 federal poverty level of $12,880, this change would represent an increase of about $440 per month. So once again, this article was back in 2021, but even today in 2025, it would offer a rather significant increase. In a video in the near future, we will be going over just how big of an increase that would be. I would expect anywhere between $400 to $500. Also in this bill, the Social Security Fairness Act, one of the things that it did is it repealed the WEP and the GPO. Well, guess what? They already did that. So this bill is going to shrink a little bit in size and ideas. It also adjusts the cost of living adjustment over to the CPIE versus the CPIW. So you would also be receiving higher cost of living adjustments every single year. But leave your thoughts and comments below. Are you behind this bill? Do you think it will pass? Do you think it won't pass? Leave your thoughts and comments below. Definitely interested in what you have to say. But that's all we have for today's video, and I will see you in the next one.